Alright, so this is where our program is right now. The options panel or window pops up. Next to the thing, you can click around and change the location of the black circle. And in this video, we're going to work to add some sliders here. And eventually, maybe not in this video, maybe so, we're going to make it so that the sliders do actually affect the color of this dot. So we're going to work mostly in the options window class. And we're going to add some more fields. So just as we did with the panel and the window, we have to create fields for the sliders. Now, these again are not mysterious objects. They're just part of Java Swing. They're objects that you can add to a panel. They're called sliders. And so if you look at I'll show you the final version again. On the left-hand side, you'll see the panel has the options window has these. I'm sorry, it's taking a long time to load this program. It has these sliders that control different attributes. You can make the thing more red, and so these three, blue, red, green, are what we're going to build today. We might add the transparency slider, but I think we'll do that one later. So we're just going to add red, green, and blue today, and they're not going to do anything right now. We're just going to put them up there, and we're going to set certain attributes. So to make sliders, you just say JSlider, private JSlider, and we're going to have a red slider, a green slider, and a blue slider. And those are the three that we're going to add today. So we need to import JSlider as we did with JPanel and JFrame. And now we have these three objects. And we are going to initialize them in the method called initialize fields. So red slider equals new JSlider, and the JSlider constructor method, one of the ways you can use it is you can add values, so like a range of values. And the color object, I'm not sure if we'll have talked about this by the time you get to this tutorial. The color object in Java, the one that's responsible for colors, takes red, green, and blue values between 0 and 255. So each pixel on your screen is built from three different color lights, teeny lights, that are red, green, and blue. And as you've probably learned in art class, those are the three primary colors that can be used to produce any color that we see. So our sliders and those values in Java, red, green, and blue, are between 0 and 255. And so that's what we want our range to be for the sliders that we're going to create. So we have, sorry, I'm just like making sure I'm looking at the correct methods. Yep. So you can just copy this, red slider equals new JSlider, and paste it twice, and then change the name of the slider to what we named it, red, green, and blue slider, in our initialize fields method. Now that's done, they have been created, but we haven't set any of their attributes. Nothing pops up on the screen. If we run our program, nothing happens yet. In order for us to make them actually show up, we're going to use this method called set attributes, where we're going to define certain components or certain ways we'd like these sliders to look and buttons eventually to look. And so in the set attributes method, we are going to use some of this JSlider class's methods to define aspects of those sliders. So the first thing we're going to do is set a border. So red slider dot set border, and this is just something you just kind of have to learn how to use. So if you want to add a border, there's this border factory object, border factory dot create titled border red. So this adds, this is a static method from the border factory class that creates a titled border that says the word red around it, and we set the border of our red slider to this border. Okay, it's a border factory. It makes various types of borders, and you can look up the Java doc for border factory if you're curious. So that's one thing we want to do to these sliders. And then red slider, you can set tick spacing, set major tick spacing, and we're going to set this to just 100. That'll put a tick every 100 units of our set range. And the next thing we want to do is set the initial value. So red slider dot set value to, we'll say, let's start the redness and all of them at 100 just initially. And then we say we want to show red slider dot set paint ticks true. This means please paint the ticks. You can control every aspect of these things, so you have to define lots of stuff about them to make them look the way you want. Let's see if that's enough here. We're going to do those things for all of our sliders, so that's 3 sliders. So we go through and we change this to green, all of them to green, and the next one to blue. Blue, copy that, paste it. Get used to doing that if you're making swing applications. Alright, so now we have some basic attributes set for our sliders. We still need to add them to the panel, and to do that we're going to actually create another method so that we can keep track of the order in which we're doing things. Public void add stuff to panel. And in this method all we're going to do is add things to our panel. So the panel dot add red slider, the panel dot add green slider, and the panel dot add blue slider. So you have to add stuff to the panel before you hang the panel on the window. And panels are what we use to build swing applications, or it's one of the most common ways to build swing applications. So we create these sliders in the initialize method. We set certain attributes in the set attributes method, and finally we add stuff to the panel in the add stuff to panel method. And there are lots of different things attributes you can change, so go look up the Java doc for JSlider if you want to know some of the different attributes. And this stuff, again, is not mysterious. It's just you have to learn it. It's like learning new vocabulary words or learning how to use a new tool. So there is an aspect of programming that is just learning what objects are available to you and learning how to manipulate those objects. It's just building up your content knowledge. It's not the logic of programming. The logic of programming is where you do these things, in what order you do them and how you accomplish certain kind of intricate tasks. But this using Swing is a lot about just learning what tools are out there and how to use them. One of the tools is sliders, and this is how some of the methods, and we'll add more methods later on to create them. And so now, is anything going to happen yet? Just do a little check with yourself to see if you can figure out if anything's going to happen yet. Is this stuff going to show up yet? Let's run our program and see. Oops, that's the completed version. Let's open this program and run it. No, the sliders do not pop up yet is the answer, and why is that? We haven't actually called these methods, set attributes and add stuff to panel. We just created new methods, but we don't, in our constructor, the thing that's responsible for building a new options window, we don't call those things. So we're going to say set attributes and add stuff to panel. And now, if we run our program, you should see 3 different sliders pop up there. Oh, and we need to add paint labels. That's one of the other methods that I didn't add. So we're going to, so we want to see the numbers down below. Red slider dot set paint labels true. And we'll copy this. and we'll add it down here, and we'll change that to green, and we'll change this one to blue, and so blue and green, and we'll run our program. And now you can see that the values are there for you. If you ever want to understand what something is doing, just comment it out and see what happens. So we commented out the red slider, set major tick spacing 100. So what does that do to the red slider? I don't even know what it does to the red slider. It just deletes all the stuff. So if you're curious what things do, just play with the values and comment things out or print things out to the console. Okay, that's enough for this video.